Hi, we're ready for the Qualpet Live show today on Thursday. What day is today? 26th of January. Man, time flies, eh? 26th of January 2022. The Qualpet Live show. Here we are ready to hit the road again. Listen, building an enterprise solution. People call us a company, you might call us a company, the same with Facebook and Google and Tesla. You might call everybody a company and a firm, and that's how the world sees us, you know. But we're not a company, we're an enterprise solution. All those companies, they're enterprise solutions. They're solutions that are enterprises, of course, and they go out to solve a problem, right? So it's not, what I want to say is it's not easy to build an enterprise solution. To do this show every day and keep the commitment, keep this responsibility that I have, that I've set out through in declaring things publicly. What you do is you kind of make a public commitment, right? You make a public commitment, and that public commitment is a responsibility and a tremendous thing. And I tell you, it might look easy, it might look nice, but it is fun. It is fun. I enjoy my life. I totally enjoy life. But it's hard work. It really is hard work. It's not easy putting out a solution out there and setting out the two big goals and stuff. So today's show is continuing from yesterday. If you want to look at it, it's part 3. So we had part 1 this week, part 2, and then today part 3. So yesterday was part 2, and the day before yesterday was part 1. And today, what we're looking at this week, of course, is the why we're doing what we're doing, right? Why are we setting out to build an enterprise solution around the problem that we see? And today I'm going to deal with that. Continuing from yesterday, right? Remember, the first part of the show, let me just make sure our technology is good. Thank you, sir. Mano, that's great. So, we talked about, the Qualpet Life and the purpose for the Qualpet Life. So now I'm going to jump right into the show. Before I used to be on the phone and wait for people to come on and stuff, but these days the technology is working well, everything is going good, the studio is well set up, and so, and of course our background, as you see our background is all snow outside. It's a snowy winter here in Ontario, but we're enjoying it. It's very, very cold as well. On days it snows, it's not that cold. On days it doesn't snow, it's irony, right? It's really, really cold. But today is cold as well. But we get used to it, I guess. You never get used to the cold, it bites your bones. It's fun though, it's nice. So we're dealing this week with a why. We want to get to the why we're doing what we're doing, why we're setting out to do this whole thing we call Qualpet Life. The Qualpet Life. It's a lifestyle system. We talked about that in our first part of the show this week. The video, 3 videos ago on YouTube or Facebook. Check it out. So the purpose we do what we do is we designed something called a system, a lifestyle system. We're a lifestyle company, and we design a lifestyle system, which is, if you live that lifestyle system that we designed, which we labeled Qualpet, the Qualpet Life, if you live that lifestyle, then the purpose of that lifestyle is that you produce a Sims book. And why would you produce a Sims book? A Sims book is what our company developed, our technology. It's a new design of the book, a reimagination of what the book should be in this 21st century knowledge age, digital age, the age of metaverse and NFT and cryptocurrency. How does the book that we have known, the book for history, fit into this new world? Like videos fit in, and music and pictures and multimedia and audio, right? Music and movies and all that. How does the book fit into this whole scenario? Nobody's addressing this problem. We're addressing the problem. And so we develop an enterprise solution for this thing, that your life is dramatic narrative. You know your life, right? You have a dramatic story. Everybody I talk to. Our company ran a survey one time in Toronto, and we asked 100 people, do you think your life is worth putting in a book? Writing a book and publishing it? Oh yeah, everybody said yes, of course, my life is so dramatic. My life is so unique. Everybody we believe our story is unique, right? That only we have this kind of story, and so much happened to our life. Yes, we can do a book. But then we asked the second question: do you believe you will have a book out before your life is over? And 98% of the people said no, and the 2% who said yes said we're either doing the book now or we're on the verge of starting it. but a good 20-25% said we never even think this is possible. And so we created a solution. We had early in our days, of course, I talked about this before, we had professors from Ryerson and University of Toronto who came on board. We had people from the innovation community who helped us with research, including Mars, which is a big research organization in Toronto. We're part of the innovation community here in our city where we are, Oshawa, Spark Center. Haven't been interacting with them recently, but I think we maxed out our relationship with them, our services that we could benefit from them with. But I want to talk about why we do what we do, and this is very, very important, because unless you set out in life, even your personal life, well, this is my personal life too, that I'm rolling out into a bigger scale, scaling up, right? If you set out to live a big life, you have to have a vision, you have to have a why. Your vision is your why. Why am I doing this? What is the purpose? And our thing here is we have the Qualped Life as a lifestyle system, and we teach that system within a course that lasts for a year. It has about 15 modules and different courses and programs within it, workbooks and all kinds of things, and it trains you in 4 different areas of life. So wellness, wealth, worthiness, and wisdom. Those 4 areas is what is a lifestyle. We build a whole lifestyle around it, and we believe it comes out of my life coaching training, and out of entrepreneurship, and out of journalism, and out of being a man of literature and a Bible college ordained minister. All those things come together, fit together, and this lifestyle came out of it. This lifestyle system, and the lifestyle system is based on literature. It's based on what I would call the canon of man, which is the literary body of work, the body of literature, classic literature, serious works that came out of throughout the ages and the generation, including the religious books of wisdom, including great literature, Tolstoy and Dostoevsky and James Joyce, and even The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, all the great poets like William Blake and Gerard Manley Hopkins. All these works, believe it or not, they came together and from different industries, entrepreneurship, journalism, literature, life coaching, all these things came together into this lifestyle system that we designed and we developed. And it's very scientific. We studied it and we put it together, and it took years to evolve. Brick by brick, piece by piece, we put it together, and now it's ready. So we teach people this Qualped Life, which is a lifestyle system, in these 4 areas: wealth, wisdom, worthiness, and wellness. And once you would have been trained in the Qualped Life, in this lifestyle system, and how to live daily in a certain way to develop these 4 areas, these 4 pillars of your life. I know in life coaching they have many areas people focus on, even relationships and finances and all those things. We don't look into those things. We look at the bigger picture. Wealth, yes, but wealth in terms of abundance and resources. Wellness, yes, but in terms of not being a bodybuilder or workout routine or all that. Wellness in your wholeness, right? So all these things we train people in courses that we develop with course books and videos and tutoring stuff and books to read and all those things, a whole bunch of stuff. And once you're living the lifestyle system, going through this program over a period of a year, the goal is there's a purpose to it. You don't just live the lifestyle system existentially, right? As we said before in the first of this 3-part series. Well, 4-part. Tomorrow we're going to finish off with a 4-part series. And this video, people, investors, and people who are interested in the Qualped Life can look at it and know what we're about. We're not just existing, we just didn't come up with a business and say we're out to make money, which a lot of people think, right? A lot of people have that perception. They think very narrow, very small, very shallow. We want people to know how deep this thing is. So we have this lifestyle system called the Qualped Life, and the purpose you live the Qualped Life is very simple. It's to produce a Sims book or a multimedia smart book, which is a technology that we invented, that we designed, and we are rolling out very soon as a Netflix for books, because I'm developing between 12 to 20, 24 maybe Sims books that we roll out. We don't put the technology out now for obvious reasons. We have milestones and goalposts, and once we get there, you're gonna see these Sims books out in the public And the goal is we have exit strategy like the stock market and all those things, or cryptocurrency and everything. No, we won't get into that. Why we're doing what we're doing, bringing this enterprise solution to the world with an action plan to scale it globally. So the goal of living the qualified life, so we want people around the world. We want at least one person from every country in this world. 233 countries in the world. If one person each from each country, or 5 people from each country, or 10 people from each country, were to live the qualified life and produce a Sims book, we would have achieved our goal. But our goal is 10,000 people by the end of 2023, November 2023, when we have our first big annual conference, the Qualified Conference in Toronto. So we're ramping up towards that. And by then we're hoping that we would have at least 10,000 people enrolled into the Qualified Life program. And writing, that year that you live the Qualified Life, that whole year you're producing, part of the work is writing and producing, developing your own Sims book. And I'm going to talk today about what Sims book is. It's very, very exciting. And the reason you do a Sims book, so we know people say, well, why do this thing, why do that thing, why not live somehow else? Because we designed this thing for a particular purpose. We studied human nature as a Bible college student, as a theology student, right? And I'm very much interested in something called ontology, which is an overlapping of life coaching and Bible study in Bible college. Ontology is a science by itself. These things fuel in me a study of human nature, being a man of literature as well. When you read deep literature, like Hamlet, Shakespeare's Hamlet, right? You can't read Hamlet or study Hamlet actually, or Julius Caesar, or Coriolanus, which is one of Shakespeare's amazing plays as well, or even Romeo and Juliet. And you can't, and Leo Tolstoy, right? Or James Joyce or Dostoevsky, Marcel Proust, all these books I've read, and what they give me is an insight into human nature. So, and including the Bible, I've read the Bible, and the Bible to me is the textbook for life. So a lot of this is based on biblical principles. And I'm coming out open about these things now. I've really gained the confidence to go public and say, this is what we're about. Here are our milestones. Here is what we're setting out to do. Just like they are doing now there's a new spirit in the world of enterprise solution. And I'm not going to talk about business. I call business enterprise solution. Because any business that is based on vision and value is an enterprise solution, is a solution to a problem, and that's what we care about. There's a new era of business opening up, economic endeavors, which is about solving problems, about solutions, and of course their enterprises. So when you look at Tesla, Facebook, I mean, why would Zuckerberg come out and say he's changing Facebook to Meta and rolling out a whole different ball game? And even Amazon, Microsoft went and bought a company for $69 billion, not million, billion, to open up this new era of the metaverse. Why are these people doing that? Why are they satisfied being billionaires? They're billionaires, they should be satisfied. They don't have need for money, but they're not about money. That's why they're about human nature. They're about evolving humanity to a particular place, which I'm coming to, which is where we starting to play. And that's why I'm really coming out with these things to say we have a strong background. We have a strong foundation. Now, out of that foundation and background in these many different areas that we come from, we develop this lifestyle system called the Qualified Life. And if you live the Qualified Life in these 4 areas, wealth, wisdom, worthiness, and wellness, then you will produce a smart book, a multimedia smart book, or a Sims book. Our company developed this technology as an advanced form of the book and the future of the book. And you would be an author of one of these books. We walk you through that process. But why would you want a smart book? Why would you even want a book? Apart from the fact that you have a story and your story is dramatic and your story is unique and you want me to leave a legacy and all that. You want to author your future. And we believe that. We believe that every human being today, in this day and age, is empowered. You're an empowered individual. And we stand on that. Remember our value system, as we said in the first of this Hart series, is we're all about the future. We're future based. We're all about originating new things. So this multimedia smart book that you develop, that you're author of, is original. It's your original work. It doesn't even come from your history, from your biography. It comes from you creating a whole new future that you believe is possible. You write out your vision, you write out your values, you write out your goals, you write out how you're going to achieve those goals, and all those are wrapped into a very exciting story that even Netflix will want to pick up. That's the importance of what we're doing. So we train you to produce a Sims book or a multimedia smart book, and this causes you to become an author of your future and an author of the future. Because when you band all of it together, if you have a Sims book author in every country in this world, or 10,000 or 100,000 or 1,000,000, our goal is 1,000,000. Before my life is over, I want to see 1,000,000, in fact 1,000,000,000 Sims book, no, 1,000,000,000 people living the qualified life and 1,000,000 Sims book authors in the world. That's my life goal. My life goal is to see everybody write and produce a smart book in their life. Not just a book, but a smart book. And we're going to show them how to do it. We have the platform, we have the technology, we have the teachings, we have the tools, and that's what we're setting out to do. And why would you want to alter the future? Why don't you just live existentially, go work, pay your bills, go party weekend, watch movie, have pleasure, forget this whole big life and responsibility and all those things? Well, you alter the future because we're human beings and we must care about each other. We must love each other. We live in the industrial age was all about me, existentialism, right? I must be satisfied. I must be comfortable. This house is mine. This building is mine. That car is mine. This computer is mine. This camera is mine. Everything is mine. It was a me culture. We see it on social media. We had Snapchat and we had all those social media where selfie. The word selfie became a thing. I think it was the word of the year at one point. And we became very selfish creatures, but we must not be like that. We're human beings, we're of community, we must care about each other, and therefore why would you want to write and produce a book, and a smart book, that is a multimedia smart book, and be an author of the future? For the simple reason that you want to be contributing to humanity. You want to contribute something of value, of worth to humanity. And why would you do this again? To leave a legacy. That when you're gone, your generations that are coming after you, your kids and grandkids and all those things, all those people, for generations to come, 200 years into the future, or even eternity, they would know that you exist. They would know that you walk this earth. Now that is the demographic we're moving into. That's the niche market that we live for, and to interact with and to love those people and to say you are hungry, you want to create the kind of future that you believe is possible. That's why we build this enterprise solution. Our solution is for those people who face the problem of saying, the world doesn't work for me anymore. The world doesn't work for us anymore. You have a war now, threats of war with Taiwan and China. You have a threat of war with Ukraine and Russia. You have a threat of war with Israel and Iran, and even the Palestinians. You have a threat of war in Yemen. Serious civil war is going on. The world is falling apart. Everybody's talking about coronavirus, Omicron. Now they're slowly starting to open up society. Then we have inflation going on. There is threat that the market would crash, the global economy. So we live in a world that is messed up, and it goes on for generation. Let me tell you something. I served many years as a journalist, and for a big part of that, including in Canada, as an investigative journalist. And I can tell you something. You solve one story. You might find some bad story with corruption or whatever, and you solve it. You report it, you stop it. Immediately stop, somebody else takes over that place. You can never get rid of corruption. I stopped doing those things because you can never, a reporter, I had such zeal as a young reporter. I'm going to change the world, we're going to clean up society, we're going to make clean government, we're going to make democracy thrive and everything. The minute you solve one problem, a different one shows up, and a different one shows up. And I saw journalists who I looked up to, back in my younger days, who they spend their whole life in this noble profession of journalism, which journalism used to be. A very, very noble profession. It wasn't about money, it was about cleaning up society and making justice happen for the poor, the needy, and the afflicted. But I see journalists, old journalists who retired, and they dedicated their life to this ideal of cleaning up society and bringing about justice, and they ended up living a life of destitution when they're old, and many of them died sick and poor and bedraggled and not even recognized. And so I started thinking, we need some different solutions, not to clean up society, not on the mass level, but on the individual level, because that's one of our values: future-based, create an original smart book is what our solution is, and of course individually empowered. You're individually empowered to create something original that contributes to humanity and at the same time build you a legacy and also give you a good living. Because what we built into our system, the corporate life, is also an economic system. It has attached to it multiple streams of passive income. Your multimedia smart book has attached to it many branches, including intellectual property that earns income in different streams for the rest of your life. We've designed this thing. We've studied it. It's very, very scientific. We had researchers. It took us years. This is not a fly-by-the-night operation. People who know me know that I've been working on Qualped full time. I mean, I do other things to make an income, like books and website and different things. Used to, I don't do that anymore. But everything that I did funded and fueled this idea that we're developing, that has been developed, and we're now rolling out. And so today I want to talk about this. I want to talk about the enterprise solution that there was a problem with human nature, and we had to develop this solution to solve that problem because we saw nobody else doing it. Google tried, Amazon tried, and I have all those research that those companies did. I read all the research material, and a lot of people tried to solve this problem that is inherent in human nature. Let me talk about that problem right now. What time is it? Let me see. I get so passionate about these things. I get enrolled in the let me see. I got some messages. Okay, good. Thank you, Mano. I get so passionate about this thing because all my life I've embedded myself in this world, researching it. All I talk about is this. All my friends and everybody know this is what I'm about, right? It's a tremendous life to live. It's a blessed life, really, to live like Elon Musk is so engrossed in his vision, in this enterprise solution he's bringing. Well, he has more than one. He has SpaceX and Tesla, so electric cars, going to Mars, and also Neuralink, we'll talk about that too. And of course Zuckerberg with Facebook, and Bill Gates and the guys at Microsoft, Bezos at Amazon, Alibaba with Jack Ma in China. All these people, they're not about money. You see, here's what. Let me say something. They have fooled us. I won't say who they are. Read this book, Hope and Tragedy by Dr. Carl Quigley, and you'll see who they are. I won't tell you who they are. Go get that book. It's big, 1,400 pages, but get it. You can only find it on Amazon, not in the bookstore. It used to be banned for a long time. Anyhow, they created a world. When I say created, they designed the world, and they said to average people like you and me, they lied to us. They said, you focus on money. Focus on money. Just go get money. Your mindset should be all about grabbing money. And then when you get the money, you don't keep it. It passes through your hand. Even if you put it in the bank, you pay bank fees and you pay interest. They might give you a little bit of interest, but they take back more in bank fees and all that. In savings account. If you're in checking account, you gotta pay them a bank fee. And so they fooled us. They told us focus only on money, on economics. Don't forget about vision, forget about goals, forget about all those things. Just have a small life. Come work for our corporation, our big fancy corporation. We're gonna give you even your uniform. And when you buy and when you go shopping at the mall, we're gonna put whatever you shop in the bag with our label on it. So when you walk down the street, you're advertising our company, but you have to pay us to get that bag and get that product. It's a con job, this whole global economy. They fooled us. They said focus on money. Now, here's what I'm getting at. Money is only a means of exchange. They didn't teach us in school and college and university, in society. They didn't teach us that what we should focus on is what the money can buy, the end result. The end result is what we needed. What do you do with the money when you get it? They didn't teach us that. They teach us focus on the money, and so we get emotional about money. We get emotional about the means of exchange, not what we are exchanging it for. You get it? We should be focused on what are we exchanging our life for. 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, 120 hours a month, all these hours a year, our life till 65 when we retire, or 55 or 60 when we retire, what are we exchanging it for? The means of exchange you focus on. Focus on the money, focus on the money, focus on the money. Forget everything else. And when you get the money, go buy stuff, put it in the garbage next year. Come back and focus on the money. Just the money is important. What do you exchanging it for? Oh, that doesn't matter. Let us worry with that, about that. We're gonna have the big stores, the processed food companies, the entertainment people, the big Hollywood movie studios. We're gonna give you that, don't worry. Whatever you're exchanging it for, we're gonna supply it. That's the world we live in. They lied to us and said, focus on money. You can't focus on money in life. If you start focusing on money in life, you're gonna lose. The money that you focus on would never show up. These big guys who rolled out new companies through Silicon Valley in Web 1, first phase of Web 1.0, back in the late 90s, or Web 2.0 in the late 2000s, the first decade, late years of or first decade of the 2000s, Web 2.0, the social media people, and even the people who are coming out now with Web 3.0. So if you go online and you look at cryptocurrency, NFT, metaverse and all that, you see everybody's talking about money. You invest in cryptocurrency, you're going to make money. You invest in this, you're going to make money. Buy NFT, you're going to make money. And they're focusing on money. How about using that technology to improve our life, to improve our lifestyle? So this is a problem. This is a big problem. And let me go back. We talked about many of this before, but now I'm putting them together in, like putting the bricks together so the wall shows up. And not the wall. Talked about the wall. The billboard shows up of what we're talking about. Back in I talked about this before, but I need to go back into it. Back in 1945, 46, 45 actually, after the Second World War, there was a guy in America called Vannevar Bush. His name was Vannevar Bush, no relation to George Bush. And Vannevar Bush worked on something called the Oppenheimer, whatever that guy's name is, I forget. Oh, I have it in my head, but I can't pronounce it easily. This project, Oppenheimer project, was developing the hydrogen bomb, what we know as the nuclear bomb. And Vannevar Bush worked with Oppenheimer on that team to develop the hydrogen bomb. And these hydrogen bombs were used in World War II to bomb two cities in Japan, Nagasaki and Hiroshima. And you know, a lot of people died. Plus the radiation in those places, up to now they can't go to those cities. People can't go because radiation is so much. And after World War II, Vannevar Bush, his conscience bothered him. He was like, we made a bomb that destroyed these two cities, that we could destroy whole of humanity. And we can't do this. We are human beings. And Vannevar Bush looked at humanity and he said, I helped create this bomb. What good can I do instead of this massive destructive thing? What good could I do for mankind? And it bothered him to such an extent, he wrote a white paper. He wrote an essay called As We May Think. And he raised a problem. The problem he raised was that human nature was dumb. Human nature is so destructive, so unthinking. We're not thinking, we're operating by emotions. We build a bomb and we bomb somebody and blow them up. In World War II. And so he saw this as a problem and he wrote this paper and he said, no. Let's become thinking creatures. And it went along with an essay by Rousseau in America called The American Scholar. If you read that essay, The American Scholar, it lines up perfectly with Vannevar Bush's essay that called humanity to order and said, hey guys, wake up. Let's think as we may think. Let's not go by emotions and build these destructive things. And in this paper, he said, how we could cause human beings to think more, to develop a mind, or learn to think. And Rousseau dealt with this in The American Scholar, a fantastic essay about what type of man we should be. And I see on TikTok, on social media, women talk about men a lot. Men are this and men are pigs, and a lot of them are. But read Rousseau's essay called The American Scholar to know how to be a man. It's a fantastic essay. and it lines up with Vannevar Bush's essay. All these things inform the qualified life. The qualified life is not just something we just came up with, you know, flippantly and say, oh, hey, we're going to have a business named qualified. No, a lot of people think that. And these shows, these talk shows that I'm doing, these content that we're building up online, one of the purpose is to show people that this is very scientific what we are doing. It's very, very scientific. It involved years and years of my heart and soul poured into it, and research from the Canadian innovation community, and from research papers from America and Silicon Valley and Google and all those places. We did a lot of work for this thing. It took years, it took a lot of money to get where we are today. And a lot of heartache, and it's not easy to build an enterprise solution. So Vannevar Bush wrote this thing and he said, how could we get human beings to think more? So he developed a machine, and he called it a meme, M-E-M-E, or whether you pronounce it meme or meme or however. And what he described in that paper, it says 1945, he came up with this in his imagination. That's why I say humanity is all imagination. You imagine human society, you imagine civilization, and you build it out. Based first in your dream, your imagination. You're dreamers. Human beings are dreamers. So Vannevar Bush dreamt and imagined this thing, and he wrote this paper and titled it As We May Think. Let's not develop more nuclear bombs. Let's think as a human race. And he described what he described in that paper, a machine called a meme or a meme, that is the personal computer. He described the mouse and the keyboard and the screen and everything, how they would work together. And read the paper as you may think. Google it, you can download it for free and read it. And you know what? Most people who watch the show wouldn't even bother, because people don't want to get into knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. We got to change that. That culture, we got to change. Now 20 years passed after he wrote that paper. In 1962, well, nearly 20 years, 18 years or something, 17 years. In 1962, there's another guy who was an academic as well, a scholarly guy from university, a professor, called Doug Engelbart. You heard me talk about him before if you watched the show. Doug Engelbart got hold of Vannevar Bush's essay, his white paper called As We May Think, which was published in the Atlantic magazine, I think. And Vannevar Bush wrote an essay, also published in a magazine, titled Augmenting Human Intellect. Now, this is very important as to the why for why we exist. Remember, this whole week we're dealing with our why. Doug Engelbart wrote this paper called Augmenting Human Intellect, and he developed on what Vannevar Bush was saying in terms of this machine that would cause human beings to think, to become rational, to become intelligent, to be bright. If you go to our website, qualped.com, you would see we have there the Qualped Life, valuing intelligence, altering our future, because that's what we're about, valuing intelligence. This comes from Vannevar Bush and from Doug Engelbart's paper, Augmenting Human Intellect. And Doug Engelbart mapped out the computer, real computer, like we know it today, with the mouse and the keyboard and the screen and how they work and everything. And of course, by the 80s, so 20 years later, Bill Gates and Steve Jobs took those papers, and Bill Gates even quit university. So in first year, Harvard and Yale and all those places, the Ivy League universities, they read these papers. And these young guys were so excited, Bill Gates and Steve Jobs and other people, but Bill Gates is the one who really did it, took those papers and read those things and said, we can build this machine. And working with IBM through the DOS operating system, they were able to build a personal computer. Bill Gates started it, and of course Steve Jobs and Wozniak and stuff came on later on, well, within a very short time. But it's Bill Gates and Paul Allen who really started this thing at Microsoft. And then Steve Jobs and Wozniak at Apple started producing the Apple system. So we have two operating systems, Apple and Windows. But it all came out of these two papers. And the one I want to focus on right now is Doug Engelbart's Augmenting Human Intellect. Because what happened after, well, we know the computer was developed sometime in the 80s into what it is now. And then, you know, the early Macs and the early PCs when you had Windows 94, Windows 95, and then Windows 2000. So in the 90s it really took off started becoming mainstream, like it's happening now with the metaverse. But these guys had one idea in mind, that this machine that they're building, this thing called personal computer, that it should augment human intellect. It should make us brighter people. It should make us more intelligent. No longer should human beings live on the face of the earth and be dumb people. Just be animals, like Darwinism says. Darwinism says we're just animals. And people, science, they started teaching this thing in school and everything, and people started thinking, if we're just animals, then, we're animals. We don't need civilization, or we don't need big intelligence and all that. And so the whole industrial age was this idea of evolution. We're evolving, and we don't need this kind of thing. But there was this movement of people saying there's this problem with human nature. Human nature, we dream, we imagine, we're capable of more, we should be intelligent. But the average human being is not intelligent. The people who went to Ivy League universities, to Cambridge and Oxford in England, to MIT and Yale and Harvard and all those universities, they were a different breed. They took over society. The people who rule Canada today, most of them attended Upper Canada Christian College. Upper Canada College. And as their high school, and as before they went to university. So you went to an Ivy League school, you became a leader in the world, right? A lot of the African leaders, even the dictators, they attended Oxford and Cambridge in England, right? A lot of dictators around the world were educated by British universities, believe it or not. And so you had an elite who lived in the world that lived a completely different life, in a bubble kind of, from the rest of mankind. And the rest of mankind were just like dumb, workers. We call them workers, producers. We give them numbers, social insurance numbers, in Canada, SIN number, imagine that, or ID number, or whatever it is. Then we became numbers, we became workers, we became producers, we became consumers, we became the masses, we became the voters. We were nameless masses of people. Shakespeare called us the rabble, and the word expresses itself, right? It's rowdy. Jesus called us in the Bible the sheep. We're known, Marx called us the masses, right? Capitalism called us the crowd and the market. Imagine that. And producers and workers, employees. All this is a problem in human nature, that we were not using our intelligence. Am I running out of time? Let me see. No, what time we start? 6. Yeah, no, we're good. So this problem existed in human nature. Human nature itself, it's not about culture, it's not about religion, it's not people from a particular religion or people from a particular culture. It's people from every part of the earth. It's human nature. There are some commonalities, which we call human nature, that are common in every human being, whichever society you're from. You go into Toronto, people from 200 plus nations, speaking all kinds of language, all kinds of religion, all kinds of background. And there are some commonalities in every single person. Human nature. It's called human nature. And this is what we are zeroing on. When people say to me, what's your niche market? Our niche market is every human being, because we are trying to solve a problem. We're setting out to solve a problem that is inherent in human nature itself. Now this problem really showed up in a big way in 1945 with Vannevar Bush's paper titled As We May Think. And he said, here's a problem, we're making nuclear bombs and bombing cities around the world. Let's be smarter people. Let's be a smarter humanity. And then 20 years later, Vannevar Bush said, oh, my heat is going, I hope it doesn't show up in the sound. But I hope the microphone doesn't pick it up. Anyway, I should turn it off maybe. Anyway, I should do these things before I start the show, right? The studio heat is going because it's so cold outside. So the problem showed up with Vannevar Bush. 20 years later, Dr. Engelbart emphasized the problem even more and said something even more profound. Not as we may think, but augment human intellect. Let's augment human intellect. And now, in this day and age, 2022, the buzzword in technology is augmented, right? Augmented reality. with these Google glasses and Apple glasses and Microsoft glasses and Facebook glasses, we're going to get rid of screens, phones and computers and cameras, not cameras, TVs and all that. Because we're going to have glasses, and the glass is going to hook up by Bluetooth to the internet and Wi-Fi to the internet, and the screen appears in front of us. Augmented reality, moving us from with wearable computer into this new virtual space that has opened up with the internet. It's augmenting human intellect. These wearable technology, not these glasses, but when Apple glasses come out later this year and Facebook and all those, it will be wearable computing. Now they even have clothes like that. One of my friends came from Toronto a couple of days ago here in the studio, and he had on this sweater that has a battery in it, and it regulates the temperature. He doesn't even need a jacket in minus 30 weather. He had on his sweater, and he had to take it off in the office because it was too hot. But the jacket was heating him and regulating with his temperature, and it was amazing. He bought that on Amazon or somewhere for like $200 or something. But a sweater that was temperature controlled by wearable technology that you wear. I actually had the guy here, a friend of mine, a couple of days ago. So we see homes are getting smart homes with Alexa and communications technology and smart walls and smart tiles and all those things. So what technology set out to do, even with Bill Gates back in the 80s when he started the personal computer, which rolled out in the 90s with Steve Jobs, the whole idea was these machines, the machine robotic computerized culture was supposed to augment our intellect. It was supposed to make us more intelligent. It was supposed to make us smarter. And most people are, like this generation, without a doubt. The digital generation is way smarter than the older generation, which didn't have access to knowledge, even books. They didn't have ready access to books. Of course, now a lot of people have access to good books, and they don't even read it, which is crazy. But with YouTube channel and social media posting and stuff, people are still, now with Instagram, all the billionaires are posting on Instagram, the average people can see their thoughts and stuff. So people are becoming smarter. Yes, the average person is becoming smarter, but yet our intellect is still way below what it should be as human beings. What does it mean to be a human being, right? That's a question that we keep asking. What does it mean to be a human being? That's one of the questions that leads us. Intelligence is one. Augmenting our intellect is one. And so computers started, but then what happened? You know what became more popular on computer than anything else? Porn and gambling and casinos and craziness, right? Intelligence was the last thing that happened on the internet. And as reflected, here's a symbol of it. Books became nothing on the internet. Reading, people said, you know, the average person, of course you have readers, and the book industry is still quite profitable. In fact, the ebook industry this year is going to hit close to $700 billion around the world. The ebook. So you have a segment of the population, but a small segment that reads. And of course, when you go to college and stuff, you got to do textbooks and all that. You have to read, you have no choice. So people are still reading and looking into textbooks and everything. But reading as a whole it's not as popular as it once was. And of course, it was for a very short time. The printing press was only invented in 1450, the year 1450, by Johannes Gutenberg, who invented the printing press in Germany and then started printing books. The first book he printed was the Bible. 49 Bibles, they're now collector's items. But then books start being printed everywhere, and it fueled, by the 1800s, you had global literacy happening. And now we have a world of 98% literacy. Most people are literate, except what they're doing in Afghanistan now, trying to stifle girls and women from getting an education. Some backward societies still exist. But overall, man has books have benefited man, fueled civilization, democracy, freedom, liberty, equality. Books did it all. However, the internet and computers shunned books, pushed books aside, and said big companies like Google, they tried to innovate on books. No success. Amazon started out with books. They switched to products. Right? They still do books, but books are not a big part of their company anymore. So books became kind of a weird, freakish thing. Movies became popular. Look at Netflix now. Everybody's watching Netflix. Music became so popular with Spotify and all the music channels out there. Even Google Music Amazon Prime Music, all the music is popular. And even podcast with audio. But books, no. Yet, here is the thing. What is the smartest thing mankind has ever produced? The most intelligent thing that we have as a human family on the face of the earth are books. Books hold education, entertainment. Books are entertaining if you believe it or not. Books are smart. The device of the book, since Gutenberg invented the printing press, books have fueled human civilization. More than thousands and thousands of years humans lived on this earth and couldn't self-develop. Society couldn't advance beyond the feudal stage of a few owning land and peasants working the land in ignorance. Can't even spell their own name. Thousands of years, most of humanity lived like that. And Gutenberg invented the printing press and changed society. Of course, a lot of other things happened. In 1971, before the internet started, Michael Hart invented the Ebook. This guy in America, his name is Michael Hart. Google him. Invented the Ebook. And he started a project, in honor of Gutenberg, naming it the Gutenberg Project, to have 50,000 ebooks listed online. This was only achieved last year. So only 50,000 ebooks since 1971, before the internet, before personal computers, and yet they couldn't do it. Because books, nobody valued books. Books weren't an in thing. Books and literature, especially deep literature. Only nerds and academics and scholars read these things. The average person, no, they didn't. If they read books, it would be supermarket pop culture books, right? Like the thrillers and all those things. But real literature, the very canon of man, what the canon is all the books, all the literature of man put together. You have what you call the canon of man. Harold Bloom dealt a lot with this, and I like his work. He was the greatest reader humanity ever produced. Harold Bloom, check him out. So all this informs the qualified life, where the qualified life is coming from. We are trying to solve this problem of the augmenting human intellect. Now, the internet, we know, fuels dumbness. It doesn't fuel smartness. It doesn't fuel intelligence. Even when you have that smart glasses, they call everything smart. They say smartphone, smart glasses, smart homes, smart cars. Really? And human beings are not smart. They never say smart people. You have smart things. Smart robots like Sophia, the robot out there who has a social media profile and can chat with you. You can add her on Facebook. Sophia the humanoid. She's a robot that looks like human. So you have smart robots, smart machines, smart cars, smartphone, smart this, smart home, smart that, but not smart people. It's a problem. Human nature has a problem, which is we use technology, we mediate ourselves for dumbness. Listen, I was watching this show yesterday, a fashion show in Paris. They had a fashion show in Paris, and they have one of the models is on a horse on the runway with her fashion attire, and this thing attracted people, the elite of the world. People paid thousands and thousands of dollars to be part of this thing. This is what we call civilization, the height of civilization, the elite. The world is no longer producing Beethoven and Bach and all these, or writers like James Joyce and Marcel Proust. The world is no longer producing great stuff. You have great athletes like Usain Bolt. You have great tennis players like Serena. You have great movie stars. But intellectuals and smart people, no. Intelligence, no. So we have a problem. We have a problem on the earth. And the only person who's trying to solve this problem right now, well, there are two people who are trying to solve this problem. Three people. Peter Diamandis, Ray Kurzweil, and Elon Musk. And Ray Kurzweil and Peter Diamandis are working on something called singularity. I have to do a whole show on singularity because there's a lot of misconception what singularity is. Singularity is a very, very important thing happening behind the scenes. And I'm going to get into that because we are futurists, so we study the future. And singularity is about the future. Singularity is going to have a huge impact on the world in the next 20 years. And so we need to take consideration of what it is. And we'll talk about it one day, maybe next week. But what I want to zero in on today is the person who's most working on this problem of augmenting human intellect, not only augmenting the clothes we wear or our communications technology or our homes or our cars. He's working, Elon Musk has something called Neuralink. And Neuralink, the goal of Neuralink is to solve this problem that Vannevar Bush and Doug Engelbart highlighted. The problem of the dumbness of human beings. So Elon Musk is saying we can augment, how much more time we have? Okay. Elon Musk is saying we can, let me see, I got some notifications here. Let me see if it's anything we need to concern ourselves with. Nope, we're good. Elon Musk said, listen, these guys said we need to augment human intellect. And we've depended on machines and robots and AI, artificial intelligence, to augment. The word augment means make better, right? For want of a simple way of saying it. Let's make better our reality through making human beings more intelligent. And so we give them computer, we give them robots, we give them technology, we give them smart homes, smart cars, and all these things are smart except the human being himself or herself. You go on TikTok, you go on social media and see how dumb people are. And I'm not saying I'm better than anybody, don't go there. It's not about who's better than who. It's that you go on, there's like 1 in 1,000 persons on TikTok who would be saying something that is intellectual, that is smart, that is rational, that is not based on emotion or these weird, stupid dancing. Women are making themselves up and going there and dancing and gyrating and do all kinds of nonsense. On Instagram, the same thing. On Facebook, all over you see it. The only social media platform that sets out to be a smart social media platform is LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is the least popular of them all, except among business people. And even business people use it to make money instead of generating real vision. Of course, some people do it, right? I love LinkedIn. It's really cool. But TikTok is the most popular. Is TikTok, and it's the dumbest thing ever. I mean, you look at the people on TikTok and they're making money with it. It's so stupid, but they're making money with it and living that life, you know, and going into anxiety if they don't get enough likes and all that. So there's a problem in human nature, and that's what we're dealing with in the show. And the solution that we offer, the enterprise solution. But let's go back to Elon Musk. Elon Musk decided, you know what? All the solutions that we try to bring mankind, the thinkers and the movers and the elites, the geniuses of human society, 8 billion people, just 300 billionaires, and even less geniuses. It's sad. It's really sad. And so Elon Musk said, you know what? Instead of us having moving computer, we're moving computer, yes, computering, the power of computers, from external to us to wearable. So it's on us now, it's on the human body. But let's go a step further. To augment human intellect, to satisfy what Bush was talking about, Vannevar Bush back in 1945 with his paper As We May Think, or to satisfy Doug Engelbart's urging of humanity in 1962 to augment human intellect, and to satisfy what Bill Gates and Steve Jobs were trying to do in the 80s and 90s to make computers augment our intellect, make us smarter as human beings, not just more efficient at our job and all that, and entertain us and give us porn and everything, but make us actually smart human beings. Elon Musk said, you know what? We're going to go a step beyond just wearable computer. Not just clothes, not just Internet of Things, not just your smart glasses, not just your smartphone. We're going to take the personal computer. We're going to actually take the personal computer and put it inside of you, in your body. That's how Elon Musk, he's an engineer, and that's how he thinks. He sees the human being as a biochemical entity, and you can solve this problem of human nature, where we're not smart enough, where we're not intelligent enough, by merging the personal computer with our biochemical makeup. And so he invented something he calls Neuralink. Neura means brain and link, of course. And this thing is like a coin, like a quarter. So small is this whole computer. It's not a smart. People say it's a microchip. It's not a microchip. It's a computer. It's an actual PC. And this computer, they built a robot to embed it in people's skulls. So they take out a piece of the skull. Check out that story. This is real. This is no fantasy. This is no science fiction. And they take this personal computer called a Neuralink with some microscopic wires and everything attached to it, and they drill a hole in people's skull to the dimensions of this thing, fit that thing in the skull and make it merge with the bone structure. Eventually you would cover it over tissues and all that. And the microscopic wires would pick up your electromagnetic activity in your brain and communicate it wirelessly to computers. And Elon Musk said this is how we're going to augment human intellect. We're going to merge man, biology, biochemical man, with the microchip. Not the microchip, the PC, the personal computer. We're going to take an entire computer and merge it with man. And that way we're going to solve this problem of man's dumbness. We're going to make everybody smart. We're going to make everybody intelligent. Believe it or not, this is happening. If you live in a different world, just going out there working, paying your bills, watching TV, and you don't look into these things, I study the future. And this future has arrived. It is here now. This thing is being rolled out this year. Elon Musk is rolling out Neuralink for human studies this year. They've already done studies last year on pigs and on monkeys, and they actually have videos on YouTube. Go check it out. Google Neuralink and you would see Elon Musk demonstrating to reporters and his investors how Neuralink causes monkeys and pigs to behave, and they're starting to put this out now for human beings. So I know all these things. We at Qualped, we research all these things. We see what is going on. And having read Vannevar Bush's paper, as we may think, and having gone through, because when we were doing research on the future of the book, okay, here's the thing. I'm a writer. I came out of a journalism background. I went into book writing, and I thought nobody's going to read my book because look at what the internet has done to books, devastated the publishing industry. Newspapers went out of business, and that's why my journalism career didn't go anywhere, because, well, it went a far way, but it couldn't go on and on. I wanted to be one of the world's greatest investigative journalists for newspapers. I did TV, and I did a lot of internet, of course, but my goal was, I love newspapers, printed newspapers. And of course the industry died, and the same thing happened with books. Printed books and all kinds of books, they took a back seat to what they call new media, or the internet technology. And so I thought, if I'm going to be transitioned from journalism into books, and I'm going to start writing my own books, how do I how do I make an impact with these books? How do I cause people to read them? Because where am I going to distribute them? Where am I going to publish them? So I started my own publishing company. I started researching how books could be exciting to people instead of boring, because books are smartest objects man has ever created. But it's going nowhere, and if I write books, it will go nowhere, so I invented this new technology. And now I'm rolling, well not now, we started a while ago, years ago, to roll out that technology, which is called Multimedia Smart Books, or SIMS books, for everybody to have the technology. We're opening it up to everybody. I want everybody to do it, and if a big company like Google were to take this on, I would back off and just do my books, because all I want to do is wake up in the day and read and write, which I do in the mornings before I come to the office. And so, how much more time we have? I don't want to run out of time today. We have a little bit more time. So, today we're dealing with why Qualped exists. And so, what Elon Musk is doing with merging the human, he's doing it on a physical level, merging the human body, biology and our chemical makeup, with the personal computer through this Neuralink thing. We are doing the same thing, except we're not doing the same thing. We're setting out to augment human intellect. That's our goal. It's just that the word augment human intellect, we can't use it on our slogan because it's too abstract, it's too passive. But that's what we're about. When we say valuing intelligence, authoring our future, what we mean is augmenting human intellect. And how are we doing it? We invented the Qualped lifestyle, You live a lifestyle to develop your wealth, your wellness, your value system, which is worthiness, and your wisdom. Those 4 pillars are important to anybody's life, to the empowered individual. And once you would have lived the qualified lifestyle, once you're in the qualified lifestyle, your purpose is not just existentialist. The purpose is to produce something, and that thing that you produce is a multimedia smart book based on your aspirations. Where do you want to go in life? You create a story around that is inspiring. You can look at it as a white paper of your life. You can look at it as a blueprint for your future, where you design what you want your future to look like. You write a multimedia smart book around it, Sims book, in our technology, design it well, and put it out on our platform, our Netflix for books. And the reason you do this is because you want to make a contribution to society. You want to make a contribution to humanity. Let your life be worth something. Not just grab, take, and exist and breathe, and then one day you expire and you're no more. But actually make a contribution. If 8 billion people on this planet could make a contribution to their community, not just their tribe or their family or their religion, but every other person, think what a fabulous human family we would be on the earth. If we could augment our intellect and be smart, if every human being, the goal of our life is not to have money in the bank, but to be smart human beings, to go after, like Solomon in the Bible, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and live that life. And the goal of all that is that we leave a legacy. We leave a legacy that no human being should live this life, this awesome thing we call life, breathing this breath of life, and then just die and disappear in a grave, like T.D. Jakes and Miles Monroe and other people said. How many people are in the grave throughout the entire history with their poem, their song, their talent, their skills, their life lessons went with them to the grave. Their story was never told, and they never put out their ideas into the world. Now we, as an enterprise solution, that's the problem we're setting out to solve with the Sims book, Simple Multimedia Smart Book. Now tomorrow is the 4th part of this series this week, dealing with our why, our vision, why we're doing what we do. And tomorrow I'm going to talk about our solution. So today we talk about a problem that we're trying to solve. Not trying, we're making it, we're going to solve it. By the end of my life, I promise you, by God's grace, I'm not God, so God has to have a hand in this. By God's grace, every human being on this planet will be writing and producing their own smart books. That's our goal. That every human being who breathes life on this planet Earth in this 21st century will write and produce a Sims book, a smart book. That's our goal. Tomorrow we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what a Sims book is, what a smart book is, how different it is, and how we're going to our roadmap, and how we're going to roll it out and achieve all these big goals that we have. Okay? So thank you for listening to me. If you did listen to me, if you didn't, and you saw this program long after our live, thank you for listening and welcome. So see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. In fact, the last Friday for the month of January. Can you believe the month of January went by so fast? 2022, it's like, well, 2020 was the same thing, 2021 was the same thing, but it's zipping by so fast. Time is moving so, we don't have time, people. A lot is going on post-COVID, with war coming on the earth, with changes in society, with the Great Reset, and the SDG goals of the United Nations, the Sustainable Development Goals, 19 goals, and with Clean Climate Agenda. A lot is going to happen between now and 2025. We don't have enough time. Don't think that you have the whole world. Young or old, you can do this. You don't need to live a dumb life. You can live a smart life. Don't walk around with a smartphone. You be smart. Let us be smart as human beings. Okay? So, take care.